Came across Zidane, who a very extraordinary athlete that came in at a very, very young age. We quickly identified some issues that we need to work on with his movements. He was very tight for his age. He was going through his growth spurt, so we saw some deficits in mobility in the hips, the knees, the ankles. And so we kind of started there, and that's really, if you look at our long-term philosophy, that's what we try to work on. You know, we try to build a very, very long, wide base of movement skills and strategies. And then from there, we try to build on athleticism and then sports skill. And so we took that approach with Zidane, and it really worked out to be very successful. We did have some issues where he had some injuries, and that kind of had a little bit of a setback for him, but it was good in the fact that it allowed us to really identify some other areas for him to focus on without interference of the sport, without interference of more athleticism needs. It really allowed us to focus on just his movement quality, and I think that was a blessing in disguise. You know, if you look at his progression, he started out just coming in for a week, and then he decided to do a 2 to 3 week module, and then he signed up for a whole academy year. You know, and so we took all that into aspects that we knew we had some time with this young athlete, and we didn't have to get it all at one time. We didn't have to try to get him done in 1 year. We've got 4 or 5 years to get him to level and the goals that he wants to get to. So, you know, going back to his injury, he had an avulsion fracture in his foot that was pulling away from the bone, and so that's a pretty serious injury. It's something that you don't want to really play around with, and we took it serious that we're going to really slow it down and focus on these movements. And then with that, he was able to increase his mobility, increase his range of motion in his spine, he increased his core strength, his hips got loose, his knees got a lot more stable. We saw some better mobility in his ankle. And then once we started getting him back and he got released, we started to see his athleticism naturally improve. And so now he's going through and he's kicking with a lot more velocity, a lot more power. You see when he lands, he's a lot more stable. And then he also got more confident too. He got confident in his body, got confident in his physical abilities. And you're starting to see that now start to realize itself on the field, on the pitch. Now he's starting to integrate right back into the sport. And so now he's getting into some looks with some elite teams in the area. He's going in with a lot more confidence and a lot more mobility, and his athleticism is increased. And so now his journey now is to try and get his fitness back up to where it needs to be to play at this high level. And so we see him now shift his focus to another aspect and dominate this other challenge that's right ahead of him. If you look at a kid like that, you know the future is going to be bright for him. You know, he started out and he had some deficits and some obstacles. But the way he overcomes these things and he doesn't get down, he fights through and he's persevering through some of these issues that he's had. That's going to help him not just in sport but also in life. And so I'm very proud to have worked with him, and I'm really looking forward to the future of his development. I think it's great because, you know, I've always worked with young athletes, but to see them get into an academy concept where you know that we're going to have a lot of time to develop him, usually with the MJP model and these protocols that we follow, they're only here for 6 to 8 weeks. Now we've got years with this kid. So with that, it's going to be really, really special to see how he develops over the next few years. His potential is unbelievable. You know, he's very determined. And when you look at his eyes, he's got that fire burning in his eyes, and you know that he wants it bad. And so what we've got to do is we've got to control, you know, you can't have it all at one time. You've got to be able to have a controlled fire almost. It's going to come. We just got to make sure that we do it in chunks and spaces and make sure it develops over time. You know, he's got a very outgoing personality. And he got along with the other older kids immediately. You know, they kind of see him as one of their peers, and so they don't really look at the age difference. He's able to have conversations with kids that are 16, 17, 18, and even some of our kids that are postgraduate have really taken a liking to him too as well. So that's a testament to his personality and his character. From my untrained eye, you know, I'm an American football player, so, you know, he looks great. I mean, he's really done some things that have been special for this region, going against other kids, and I mean, he's signing autographs from kids that are the same age as him, you know, in this local area. So they can see that he's very special, he's very talented. I've seen him dribble the ball without touching the floor, 400 plus touches, and I've never seen anything like that in my life. So that's pretty cool that he's able to do those things. He's got natural perseverance, and that's one of his special qualities about him, and never lose that. Keep pushing forward and don't let these obstacles stop you. It's just a hurdle, it's just a temporary pause in your career. You're going to be able to get over those, and I'm really happy that he's been able to experience some of those at a young age, because it's going to stick with him the rest of his career.